Hi there, and welcome to episode 4 of Hi Errol. I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank you for dropping in. This episode is about the relationship wound, and what I want to share within this video is aspects of the wound, how it shows up, how it turns up, what it's there for, what its priority or main use is, and how you can take steps to not only access or sort of see through the wound, but actually go into a deeper place to resolve what is happening, or the repetitive patterns or repetitive wounds that you're experiencing in your relationships. So I'd like to start off with really explaining the relationship wound, whatever that wound is, whether you're actually in a relationship right now and you're experiencing a repetitive wound, something that's coming up that's causing you emotional pain non-stop. And this may be something that is a boundary issue, a communication breakdown, or not feeling loved, not feeling nurtured, not feeling listened to or honored or respected. This could also be for people that are just coming out of a relationship that maybe perhaps a abusive relationship, or a relationship that has caused you some pain. This could be a long-term relationship, or it could even be one of these short, sharp burst relationships just come in and they sort of, create, wound inside you, or they push buttons. And even a short, sharp burst relationship has the ability to bring this, to raise this to the surface, this relationship wound. So whichever level or wherever you're at, whether you're in a relationship or you're about to go into one, or you just finished a long one or a short one, this video actually, is beneficial for you. So I hope you gain something from what we're about to delve into. So I'd like to expand a little bit on what the wound is. The wound is where something within you is being pushed, a button is being pushed, or a repetitive pattern is arising to the surface because something in your relationship or within you and your dynamics with the person you're in a relationship with or just come out of is causing you some emotional pain. This can show up as a feeling of abandonment, not feeling worthy, not feeling good enough, not feeling listened to. Or it could be that you feel that you're isolated, or that you've done wrong, that you should have done something better, or that you should be someone better, or be someone more than what you are. These are all different types of wound, and there's so much more. There's the wounds that make you feel that you're inadequate in different ways. There's the wound of not being able to truly connect, even though you're in a relationship, but there's something that's stopping you from truly connecting on such a deep level. There's like a barrier there. So what I'd like to present to you here in this video is that the wound is basically showing you that there's something within you that needs to be resolved. Now, this is your soul's way, or the universe's way of bringing something to you, bringing a situation, a scenario, and in this case, a relationship or a relationship breakup that will highlight something that is already within you. So it's not that this person is bringing it into your life. What's actually happening is this person is pushing some buttons and triggering something that was already there. Now, your soul has this amazing way of communicating with you in this way, in the way of bringing situations and stories into your life. Your soul isn't going to suddenly pop up inside you and with a deep bellowing voice and say, "Hey, hello, this is your soul, and I'd like to speak to you." You'd think you're sort of going mad. There's another voice in your head. It's like, no, there's a voice in my head. Yes, it's your soul. I need to speak to you. No, I'm going crazy. I'm going mad. There's a voice in my head. Yes, you are going mad. That's why I need to speak to you. So it's not going to speak to you in a way that there's this bellowing voice coming through and saying, "Hey, you need to do this or do that." It's going to present to you situations in your life, stories in your life, where you need to actually physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually work through, go through, in order to break through that barrier, break through that wound. So for example, the wound may be that you are feeling unloved or inadequate, or not feeling that you are being heard or honored and respected. Now, this is probably something that's already within you, something that's already harbored somewhere within you. Within your life experience, whether it's childhood or whether things have happened along the way even in teenage years or throughout your adulthood, something perhaps has happened within you and it's been stored, and perhaps it's been pushed down. And what we do with these wounds, we sort of keep them in a vault somewhere. We lock them in this sort of secure room, and it's locked up. And there's the emotion there, there's the wound there, and we don't want to go there. But what's happening is that vault, that room is vibrating, and the vibration of that is so powerful, it ripples outwards and will bring forth to you into your life a similar scenario for you to break through it, because your soul doesn't want you to harbor so many wounds in your vault, in your rooms, in the sort of the deep cellar or basement of your being. It wants you to be free. It wants you to be free to express yourself, to be who you are, to love who you are, to really truly know who you are. So your vault or your cellar or your basement rooms that are locked with these wounds eventually will ripple outwards and attract to you situations for you to break through, walk through, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Now, this is where growth happens. Now, what is happening in your life, if you have a look at the actual wound that's turning up in your life, you may see there may even be a repetitive pattern that you've noticed in relationship breakups in the past, the relationships that you're in right now. You may see that there is a repetitive pattern. Now, what I suggest, or I'm asking you to do here, is just to note down what that feeling is. What is the feeling of that wound? What is the feeling? Write it down. Maybe perhaps look at the past relationships that are creating this sort of same feeling. Maybe all different people, but it's the same feeling. That's the feeling that needs to be worked on. That's the wound of not being enough or not feeling enough. Now, this may have come from somewhere else, and I don't want to harp on about, oh, it's your mother or it's your father. We do go through a lot of challenging times as a child when we're not adult enough to understand what's going on or how to sort of receive information. We're children, when we're younger, we don't have the ability to look at things as an adult. We do file things in a certain way when we're younger. So the wound can come from different parts of your life and is just now showing up because it's your soul begging you to have a look at what's going on here for you to break through it. Now, the wound here is an important part of your spiritual growth. It's like something that you're wanting to have. You're wanting to have a relationship that is fulfilling, that you want to be loved, that you want to feel that you are loving and you're being heard and respected. And that's your goal. And perhaps it hasn't happened yet because there's a belief or feeling within you that's stopping that, preventing it. That's the wound that's in the vault. That's the wound that needs to be broken through. So you'll be given scenarios, you'll be given relationships which almost act as a bridge. It's like a bridge between where you are and the goal. The goal is being honored, being respected, being loved for all that you are. And sometimes that bridge can look like some sort of wooden, like single plank wooden bridge that has fraying ropes and it looks like it's got holes all over the place, or it's a bridge with a huge storm and you think, how am I going to cross that bridge? That's exactly why the bridge is being presented to you in that way. It's for you to break through the fears. It's for you to go through that bridge, walk over all those holes and the rope that's almost breaking and the storm that's pushing it and it's waving in the wind, for you to go through, because all of that storm and all the holes in the wood and the rope, that's all the wound, that's all the buttons that are being pushed with your relationship or the relationship you just come out of. Those are the buttons that are being pushed, and it's begging you and inviting you to go in, to face those, to face the shadow. And this isn't the time to sort of bring in light and rainbows and unicorns and sort of protect you with a shield and like everything's going to be okay and I'm fine. No, this is a time to go into the shadow because your light is in there. Somehow it's been trapped in a shadow of self-doubt where you don't feel loved, or you don't feel inadequate, you don't feel that you're being loved and honored. This is a shroud, a shadow covering your light which is inside. And the invitation here is for you to go into that shadow. It's not about chasing the light, it's about going into the shadow and facing that and immersing into that wound and finding out truly who you are. By immersing into that wound, you'll see that the wound, the shadow, that darkness, that pain, that bridge that you're scared to go across will actually start moving and shifting, and the shadow and the darkness will start opening. And what will happen is that a blossoming happens, an awakening, an unfolding happens within you, where suddenly out of the darkness within you, out of the shadow within you, a light appears, and that light is you. And no one can take that away from you, because you've been courageous enough and you've trusted enough, trusted in yourself, and had faith in something that you don't know. You have no idea what's going to happen, how you're going to get across that bridge, how you're going to resolve this thought or this feeling about yourself. And suddenly it happens. And this happens when you go deep within. This isn't a mental thing that you can solve. This is something that needs to be away from the mind, away from the disconnected mind, something that goes into the heart of your being, into the soul of your being, where you sit in that shadow, in that aspect of yourself, and be with it. It's begging and inviting you to be present with that aspect of yourself. What I mean by this is it's inviting you to be present with that shadow of you, because that shadow of you also needs love and it needs your presence. So the invitation here is for you to go in and be present with that. And what would happen is that there may be a protection barrier within you, like a protection team, a security team that you hired at some point in your life where this wound has come up, and you've said to yourself, you're never going to allow this to happen again. And it's like you have a protection team, security team inside you, that as you start going down into the shadow, into the pain, that protection team comes up and says, no, we're not going to allow you to go down there, because the last time you felt that, you had a lot of pain, and you hired us to protect you from going to the shadow. So what will happen is you may jump back up again and not fully face that shadow. And by jumping back, by rebounding back up again into the mind, what's going to happen is you're not going to resolve the shadow, you're not going to resolve the wound, and you're going to carry on in life until your soul brings another scenario into your life, another person, which may look like a completely different person, a completely different scenario, but it will push all the same buttons again. And it's begging, it's inviting you to go back into the wound, because it knows what's best for you. It knows that your desire is to experience something different, and it knows that. So it's presenting you a bridge. It may be a rickety bridge that looks like it's going to fall apart, and that's exactly what you need to walk across, because you need to have faith and trust and surrender to the process, because that's how you're going to break through the wound. So when that security team or that protection barrier, which is in your subconscious, as you're diving in, when it comes up, perhaps you need to initially sit with that team and say, okay, listen, I know I hired you because the last time I felt this feeling, I felt like I couldn't go on. I felt like I couldn't go on in life, and it was too painful. But I just want you to just step aside for a moment, just trust. Step aside for a moment, let me go in here. It's okay, I've got this. I'm giving you all a break. You can all go on a break for an hour, for a few days, for a few weeks. You can come back if you want, but I'm just giving you a break here. Just step back a bit. Let me go in, and just allow yourself to go in past the protection barrier that you may have created, and just be present with that shadow. It's begging for you to be present with it. It's begging for your love. It's not something that you suppress or put into a vault or a basement somewhere, because for sure your soul has your best interests at heart. So it will continue to bring in new scenarios and stories which you may think are completely different, but they're not. They're all guiding you to the same place. And that same place is the place for you to experience the freedom of your authentic truth, the freedom of your authentic self. And that is found deep within your being. So my suggestion and advice here is to not look at the scenarios of your relationships as it's this person and the name of this person and it was this scenario. My invitation here is to look at it as energy, as vibration, as frequency. What is the feeling that is being brought up by this particular relationship split up, by this particular relationship that you're in right now? What is the feeling? Label it, see what it is, feel it, and follow it down, and allow yourself to break through the barriers of your security team and go down within, and be willing to not know, be willing to have this uncertainty of not knowing what's going to happen, because that's how your growth is going to happen. That's how you're going to grow, when you allow your light that has been shrouded in this false darkness, this shadow aspect of yourself that believes or feels that you're inadequate or not good enough, or that you're not heard, or that you're not worthy and deserving, and all these other false beliefs. They are true, and we've got to honor the fact that they're true. Let's not negate that, because these truths that you are not good enough have been part of your making. They've been part of your journey. They've been part of what makes your personality and identity who you are. So let's honor it. Let's not discard it. Let's not just pull it out, and let's just not, erase it and just say, okay, we're going to get rid of it. Let's feel it. Let's honor it, because it's made you who you are. And at the same time, understand that, yes, it's true. Your belief and feeling, yes, it's true. You're inadequate. You're not being listened to. You're not respected. You're not loved. Yes, it's true. But it's not absolutely true. And knowing that it's not absolutely true is what makes a crack in that belief that it's true that you're not unloved. Is it true? Yes. Is it absolutely true? No. What is the absolute truth? The absolute truth is when you go down into that vault, into that wound, and be present with that shadow aspect of yourself. Your mind may not know how it's going to unravel, and that's how it works. You go down in and you become present, and your truth, your authentic truth, will unravel, and it will awaken, and it will blossom within you. And that's how growth and your true authentic self comes about into your being, and no one can take that away from you. And that's how you break through that particular wound, so that it doesn't come back into your life. Or if it does, or if a person does come into your life that represents those old patterns, you completely have all the power within you to say no. Whereas before, you would just subconsciously accept it into your life, because it's the wound that is begging you to pay attention to, because it needs you to go through it to resolve it. So by resolving this wound, when these scenarios are presented to you again in your life going forward, it's very easy for you to say no, because it's not part of your truth anymore, because you've tapped into your authentic truth and you know who you are. So this is very simple processes. It may seem complicated, but it's very simple. Look at the relationships in your life, look at the major feelings or repetitive patterns of the feelings that are going on. Find out what they are, and use that to go out of your mind, to go into your heart, go into your soul, and follow it down. Allow the security team to just dissipate and step away for a moment, and give yourself the time to go in deeper and deeper, away from the mind, into the heart mind, into the soul mind, and sit there and be present. Be present with that wound aspect of yourself, and you will see, or you will feel an awakening happening within you. So I look forward to you giving comments below, and I look forward to hearing how you will go about going into these wounds that are perhaps repeating, and it's time for them to just stop. It's time for you to grow and expand and break through that. So please leave comments underneath, and I really look forward to interacting with you. Like always, if you have a comment and you don't want it to be public, then just message me. I'm happy to answer, and really happy to share all of this with you. Hope you have a great day. Thank you.